Sunlight filters through the bay windows of my parents' dining room, glinting off crystal glasses like tiny prisms. Tradition settles around me as I adjust the burgundy napkin on my lap, breathing in the aroma of Mom's pot roast. At the head of the mahogany table, Dad carves the roast with steady precision, each slice landing neatly on the Wedgwood china reserved for Sunday dinners. "Just a small piece, Dad," I say. But he ignores me and serves a generous portion anyway. "You're too thin, Gabrielle." "Always have been," he mutters without looking up. I'm about to remind him that at 38, I can decide my own portions when the front door bursts open. The calm atmosphere shatters as my sister Vanessa arrives, with her husband Mark and their 3 children. Noise fills the room, backpacks hitting the floor, kids arguing over chairs, Mark's heavy steps. "Sorry we're late," Vanessa says, her voice carrying no real regret. Her eyes shine with a strange excitement that makes me uneasy. Traffic was terrible by the outlet mall. "You went shopping before Sunday dinner?" I ask, but Mom's delighted greeting of her grandchildren drowns me out. Dad meets Vanessa's eyes and gives a slight nod, a silent exchange that knots my chest. I know that look. It's the same one they've shared for years, right before I discover I've been excluded from yet another family plan. "Well, we're all here now," Mom says, patting the table. "Charles, finish serving so we can eat while it's hot." We fall into the usual rhythm, passing dishes, making small talk. Mom asks about my architectural work. Dad quizzes Mark on the stock market. The kids complain about vegetables. Then Vanessa suddenly declares, "We're moving into your lake house next week. Our place has foundation issues." My fork freezes halfway. "What?" "It's sitting empty anyway," Dad replies, tone casual but eyes sharp. "I get the blue bedroom," Vanessa's oldest son shouts, bouncing in his chair. "No fair." "Mom promised me that room," his sister protests. Their squabble fades as realization sinks in. The children already know their rooms. This wasn't spontaneous. It was planned, agreed upon, and decided long before I sat down. "Your lake house has plenty of space," Mom adds, as if that ends the discussion. "And they won't be there forever." 6 years. 6 years I've spent restoring that property. $420,000 to purchase it, another $95,000 in essential repairs. I fixed flood damage alone while they vacationed in the Caribbean. That house is more than real estate. It's where I rebuilt myself after my divorce. Where I learned to sleep without fear. Where I finally found peace. "Family helps family," Vanessa insists, her words rehearsed. "We'd do the same for you." "It's only for 7 months," Dad adds. Mark stays quiet, staring at his plate. His silence says enough. I place my napkin beside my plate. The small movement draws every eye. Inside, something shifts. Clarity, overdue but certain. "Gabrielle, you're always particular about your things," Mom says, brushing off my silent objection. "This is what families do," Dad adds, tone sliding into condescension. "We help each other." Vanessa smirks, confident she's won yet again, just as she always has. She takes, I give. And our parents enable. But not this time. I reach for my handbag beside the chair, pulling out a crisp manila. I place the folder on the table. Inside are renovation contracts and city permits, all signed and dated 3 months ago. The project is a complete 9-month renovation, everything down to the studs. A heavy silence spreads across the dining room. Dad's carving knife hovers above the roast. Mom's glass of water is paused midair. Vanessa's smile fades. I take a measured sip of water, my hand steady as the crystal catches the light, scattering tiny rainbows across the tablecloth, sharp, bright prisms that go unnoticed by everyone else. The folder rests between us like a silent weapon. Dad's knife remains suspended, Mom's glass frozen. Vanessa's polished smile has cracked. "You can't be serious," she says, her voice rising. "We've already given notice at our apartment. Where are we supposed to go?" I sip again, memories surfacing, her borrowing my car for a weekend that turned into 2 months, returning it with a cracked windshield she claimed was already there. The $3,000 loan that grew into $18,000, still unpaid after 6 years. The spare key she had made to my apartment without asking, discovered when I found her in my shower. "You'll have to find somewhere else," I reply, calmer than expected. "The contractors start Monday." "Gabrielle," Dad sets down his knife, his corporate negotiator voice taking over. "Be reasonable. Your sister has 3 children. And foundation issues," Mom adds quickly. "You can't expect them to live in an unsafe house." I don't, I answer. I expect them to secure housing that doesn't depend on mine. Vanessa narrows her eyes, sharing a look with Dad. The same silent alliance I saw at 16, when I learned my college savings had been spent on her wedding. Their pressure tactics feel rehearsed. But we're already packing, Vanessa says, shifting from demanding to pleading. The moving truck comes Monday morning. This will break your father's heart, Mom whispers, clutching Dad's hand for effect. My phone vibrates with a text from Miguel, my contractor. All materials delivered. Ready for Monday, 7 a.m. sharp. Another notification follows. Smart lock system active. Relief replaces anxiety. I'm prepared. Permits filed, security installed, everything done properly. What about storage for our furniture? Mark finally speaks, eyes fixed on his plate. At least in the garage? The garage is being converted into a home gym, I explain. It's all part of the renovation. You'll regret putting a project before family, Vanessa snaps. Tears appearing on cue. Tears I've seen at birthdays and holidays whenever she didn't get her way. Dad leans forward, voice low. Gabrielle, this could affect certain decisions about the future. The inheritance threat, predictable. What about the children? Mom pleads. They'll have nowhere to go. I fold my napkin carefully. Their lifetime of demands disguised as obligations presses against me, but I no longer bend beneath it. Poor planning on your part does not create an emergency on mine, I say, meeting Dad's eyes. Recognition flickers. His own mantra, used for decades on unprepared clients, now turned back on him. I rise, collect my purse and the folder. I've met my obligations. Now respect my boundaries. Sit down, Gabrielle, Dad commands. We're not done. I am. Vanessa's oldest son looks up, confused. But I told my friends about my new Lakehouse bedroom. It's not your bedroom, I say gently. And it's not your Lakehouse. I walk to the door as protests rise behind me. I don't look back. The front door closes with a soft click, more final than a slam. Outside, the crisp autumn air steadies me. By the time I reach the highway, my phone shows 12 missed calls from Dad. Only when I'm alone on the interstate, 20 miles separating us, do my hands begin to shake on the steering wheel. The adrenaline drop hits hard, trembling fingers, shallow breaths, but beneath it, my determination stays firm. I pull into a rest stop and call Miguel. Make sure the security system is fully functional by tomorrow morning, I tell him, and move the dumpsters in front of the garage doors. I'm worried about unauthorized entry. Already planned on it, he replies, amusement clear in his tone. J'apprécie. The flood repairs, I figured your family might try something. My grip tightens on the phone. He remembers. Someone remembers how I handled those emergency repairs alone 3 years ago, while the family enjoyed the Caribbean. The locks are changed, Miguel continues. We've installed cameras at every entry point. The shaking in my hands eases. I'm not in this alone. Thank you. I'll see you Monday morning. As the call ends, a text from Vanessa appears. Dad's furious. Fix this now. I silence my phone, set it on the passenger seat, and watch the evening sky deepen into indigo as I merge back onto the highway. I'm heading home, not to the Lakehouse, which is becoming something different now, something that belongs to me, but to the apartment where I've learned to sleep without checking the locks 3 times. Tomorrow, they'll push harder. I know it with certainty, but for the first time, I'm ready. Monday morning arrives with the rumble of an unfamiliar engine. At my kitchen window, coffee mug in hand, I watch a moving truck crawl up the gravel drive of my lakeside property. Its burgundy logo matches the shade of Vanessa's lipstick from that awful Sunday dinner. My phone buzzes. Dad's 5th call since dawn. I silence it without checking and gather the folder of permits I had shown them that night. The papers feel heavier now, like armor instead of documents. By the time I arrive, Ray and his crew have already blocked the driveway with safety cones and sawhorses. Chainsaws hum faintly in the background. Miss Morgan, Ray greets me with a nod, clipboard in hand, 6 workers beside him. Permits are posted. Interior stripping begins in 30 minutes. Thank you. I glance at the truck. I see we have visitors. They showed up 10 minutes ago, Ray explains evenly. Said they had your permission to move in. The truck door opens. Vanessa steps out, sunglasses perched on her head, her face flushed. What's going on? she demands, pointing at the crew. They won't let our movers through. I meet her halfway, keeping distance. The security guard I hired watches quietly nearby. As I explained last Sunday, renovations begin today. I lift the permits. The property isn't livable during construction. You can't be serious. Her voice rises. We've already given notice. Where are we supposed to go? I offer her an envelope, a 6-month storage contract, paid in full. She stares but doesn't take it. Storage? We need housing, not storage. Your housing isn't my responsibility, Vanessa. These problems didn't appear overnight. You had time to plan. Her eyes narrow, then she storms toward the house. I still have a key. We'll work around your little project. That won't work. I follow calmly. She shoves her key into the lock. Nothing. Welcome to Secure Home Systems, a robotic voice announces. Unauthorized entry attempt detected. Alerting property owner and security service. My phone vibrates with the alert. You changed the locks? She snaps. Last week, I nod toward the cameras. Police are notified automatically. Standard protocol. Her composure cracks. You can't do this. We're family? Family respects boundaries. I reply steadily. The security company calls. I confirm the alert was triggered by my sister. When I hang up, Vanessa has retreated to the truck, gesturing wildly at Mark. Ray approaches. We're ready to start, Ms. Morgan. Go ahead. I sign his clipboard. I want the master suite down by Thursday. Understood. He hesitates. Should we expect trouble? Before I answer, the truck engine roars. Instead of leaving, it swerves onto the lawn, crushing the ornamental grasses I planted last spring. Movers unload furniture as Vanessa calls out triumphantly, Since you won't be reasonable, we'll keep things here until you come to your senses. An ornate dresser hits the ground. Mark follows, weary but obedient. I stay still, then dial a number. Lakeside Auction House? Yes, this is Gabrielle Morgan. Proceed with pickup. Donate proceeds to the Foster Youth Program. Vanessa freezes. What? Auction house? The one I called yesterday, I reply, meeting her eyes. I anticipated this. Ray clears his throat. Should we work around the furniture? No need. I hand him forms. Anything not in storage sheds is being removed today. The day unfolds as planned. Demolition begins. Furniture piles up on the lawn. Vanessa shifts between threats and tears until Mark convinces her to leave, promising to return. 2 days later, I stand in what was once the master bedroom as drywall comes down. My phone rings. Vanessa. You heartless bitch, she screams. The auction truck took everything. Those were heirlooms. I step outside, voice calm. Then they should never have been left on property you don't own. Her scream echoes through the phone, but something within me has shifted. The calm I feel isn't forced. It's become natural. The boundary I've set feels right, essential. I've kept every record. When her shouting finally fades, I speak. I have photos of furniture abandoned on private property, security footage of attempted unauthorized entry, police reports documenting trespass warnings. Her silence says more than words. I've already instructed property management about approved visitors. I continue, explaining she can schedule a visit to check on the renovation, but only with advance notice. Her voice cracks with anger. Mom and Dad are coming to talk sense into you. I glance at my watch, then at the construction foreman, who signals a thumbs up. Perfect. They'll see exactly what they cannot take away. Gabrielle, I was speaking with the Hendersons. You remember John, my golf partner? He thinks your decision seems rather severe. I take a slow sip of water. I wasn't aware the Hendersons had any stake in my property. Community matters, Gabrielle. People talk. Yes, I reply evenly. They certainly do. I place my glass down with care. They talked plenty when I handled the flood damage by myself 3 years ago. Not a single offer of help then. Dad's reply is interrupted by voices in the foyer. Mom returns with Pastor Williams, our longtime spiritual advisor, whose opinion I've always valued. Gabriel, wonderful to see you, Pastor Williams says warmly, taking the seat beside me. Your mother tells me you've been busy with renovations. Transformative ones, I confirm, aware of the staged impartiality my parents are so good at arranging. Mom serves him before resuming her chair. We were just discussing family. Harmony, weren't we, Charles? Dad nods, cutting his meat precisely. And how certain choices might still be reconsidered for the greater good. The children miss their aunt, Mom adds, lowering her voice into the register she reserves for persuasion. Family should stand together, especially in hard times. I feel my grip tighten on the fork. The familiar pattern emerges. The united front, the quiet insinuation that I'm the problem to be fixed. Speaking of family, Dad continues, the Fosters took in their daughter's family for 8 months after their renovation disaster. Barbara says it brought them closer. The pressure builds carefully, each story reinforcing the message of what good families do. I reach for my handbag, pulling out my tablet. I'd like to show you something, I say steadily as I unlock it. The first photo appears, my lake house wrapped in scaffolding. This was day 1. I swipe to images of gutted interiors, workers in hard hats. And this was last week. Pastor Williams leans forward, genuinely interested. My goodness, what a transformation. The photos reveal an entirely new space. A 3-bedroom with a private office, lakefront windows, vaulted ceilings with reclaimed oak beams. That's the master suite, I explain, showing the redesigned balcony. It was challenging structurally, but worth it for the sunrise view. Mom pauses, fork in midair. It's completely different. That was the point, I reply, shifting to another folder. Here's the project schedule from 5 months ago, and the property assessment, showing a projected 40% increase in value. Dad's expression shifts. The businessman in him recognizes the sound investment. This was never about denying Vanessa, I say, voice measured. It was about following my own plans. Plans made long before her so-called housing crisis. I tap another folder. Let me remind you of something. Storm damage photos fill the screen, water rising through the first floor, furniture floating, mold spreading. $28,000 in emergency repairs, I note, showing receipts and invoices. And here, I add, pulling up text messages from that week. The ones where I asked for help and was told everyone was too busy. I believe you were on vacation then. Mom's face pales. Dad studies his plate. Respecting boundaries isn't cruelty, I say into the silence. It's adulthood. Dad exhales, shoulders slumping. For the first time, I don't see the patriarch, but a negotiator who knows he's been outmaneuvered. I should have helped with those repairs, Mom admits quietly. No excuses. No conditions. Perhaps her first real apology. The front door opens. Vanessa enters, cheeks flushed, clearly expecting to face the usual united front against me. Her confident stride falters when she takes in the scene. Our parents subdued, Pastor Williams thoughtful, my tablet displaying evidence instead of emotion. What's going on? She asks, confusion breaking through her certainty. Mom said we were discussing the lake house, I reply calmly. We stood as I gathered my belongings, confirming the conversation was finished. I'd already shared updates on my renovation. When it's complete in 6 months, you'll all be welcome to visit, with advance notice. I even offered a formal invitation card from my purse. The housewarming is set for March 12th, and I hope you'll attend. As I walked to the door, the unspoken question lingered. Who will actually come? And under what terms? Driving away, I felt surprisingly calm, watching my parents' house fade in the rearview mirror. Ahead, twilight settled over the lake. I imagined my property illuminated by construction lights, transformation ongoing whether or not anyone came to witness it. For the first time in adulthood, I felt no guilt, no sense of obligation, only the steady clarity that peace isn't found in surrender. Sometimes it's found in holding your ground. 6 months later, sunlight scattered across the lake, casting bright reflections on my bedroom ceiling. The renovation was complete. I wrapped my hands around a mug of coffee, taking in the morning stillness from my balcony. No voices pressed for attention. No duties weighed on my mind. Only the rhythm of the water against the dock and the birdsong from the oak tree I had insisted on keeping. Below, the new kitchen gleamed, copper accents and reclaimed wood countertops. Just last weekend, I hosted friends there, serving wine in glasses I chose for myself, not passed down. Laughter carried through rooms once imagined for Vanessa's children. The exercise room now filled the space that was meant to be her master suite, a daily reminder that self-care is not selfish. My phone buzzed. A message from Rachel, my contractor who had become a friend. Still can't believe we pulled this off. Best project ever. I smiled, remembering her disbelief when I first described my vision. You want to tear apart a perfectly good house? She'd asked. Now she toured prospective clients through my home, always with permission. The doorbell rang, interrupting my thoughts. On the security camera, I saw my parents. My father shifted uneasily, my mother holding a small plant, their first visit since the renovation. I pressed the intercom. Come in, I said, unlocking the door remotely. They stepped inside hesitantly, a contrast to that charged Sunday dinner months ago. Dad looked up at the soaring ceilings. Mom's gaze lingered on the dining table, placed exactly where Vanessa once insisted would be perfect for homework. Gabriel. This island, Dad began, speechless for once. Remarkable, Mom finished, setting the jade plant on a side table. Truly remarkable. I served coffee in handmade mugs as they took in the changes. Mom paused at the photo wall. Pictures of hiking trips, design projects, sunset swims. Not a single family portrait among them. This is who I am now, I said simply, answering the question she didn't ask. Dad studied the details with a businessman's eye. You've built something remarkable, he admitted, unknowingly echoing Mom. The recognition felt both proud and bittersweet, a reminder that growth sometimes requires distance. Later that week, I hosted a small gathering. Rachel brought champagne. The security company sent a gift basket labeled for our most respectful client. The auction house owner stopped by, sharing photos of the community center now furnished with Vanessa's old heirlooms. The foster youth program director had cried when it was delivered. He said it was their first matching set of furniture. Then a text came from Vanessa. I'm sorry about the furniture. Can we talk? I crafted my reply with care. Dinner next month. Bring dessert. Boundaries remained clear. No talk of moving in. Protection and possibility held in balance. When the evening ended, Dad paused at the door. Respecting boundaries isn't cruelty. It's adulthood, he said, repeating my own words back to me. His acknowledgement felt like the last piece of the renovation falling into place. As the sun set, I walked down to the dock alone. Gold melted into purple across the water's surface. My reflection stayed steady against the shifting sky. Peace doesn't come from abandoning boundaries, it comes from honoring them. In this sanctuary, shaped by my vision, I had finally found both.